got an honest question for you guys. Because here at work, my boss told me today that we're not getting enough likes on this channel. We're doing a company-wide like challenge for the month of June, and the Giants rank in the bottom half of the channels right here. And he said, should we just give your channel to the new guy, Patrick Seatman? I didn't like that. That pissed me off. So if you enjoy me covering the New York Giants for you guys, show me some love and like this video so I can tell my boss, hey, the Giants fans at Giants Now, they got my back. They want me to continue to do videos. So if you enjoy me keeping you guys up to date on the latest Giants news and rumors, go down right now and like this video. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, I've got 5 Giants cut candidates. Somewhat surprising cut candidates, in my opinion, that we'll go through. And we'll look at the depth chart and why it makes sense to cut some of these guys and the latest news and rumors and rumblings around them. And the first one is Darius Slayton. And we've talked about him before on the show. But he just didn't fare that well in Giants minicamp or Giants OTAs. He didn't miss a practice. But the thing is, the Giants have had a lot of injuries at wide receiver. Kadarius Toney, he's been wearing a red non-contact jersey. Kenny Golladay, he's been wearing a red non-contact jersey. So is Sterling Shepard. Those are the 3 big dogs at the wide receiver position. And Darius Slayton, he wasn't even starting at minicamp. He's been running with the second team. C.J. Board, Davis Sills, and Richie James were the 3 wide receivers that was running with the first team, with the other 3 guys, and Golladay, Toney, and Shepard not practicing. That is not a good sign for Darius Slayton, a player that's entering year 4 of his NFL season, especially considering the fact that he wasn't drafted by Joe Schoen. He wasn't drafted by Brian Daboll. So I'm concerned if he's going to make this roster. And even more proof, or I guess a little bit of beef to back that up, the Giants would save $2.5 million in cap space by cutting Darius Slayton. What can you get with $2.5 million? Not that much, but you can roll that over into next year. You can have some future flexibility during the season. If a player gets hurt, you can go sign someone in free agency. And Darius Slayton just hasn't really been the same football player that he was in his rookie year after being a 5th-round pick out of Auburn, where he had 48 receptions, 740 yards, and 8 touchdowns, and only 2 drops. And then he got bit by the drop bug because the next 2 seasons he had 12 drops and he never had more than 3 touchdowns. He was great his rookie season. Him and Daniel Jones showed a great chemistry, but that is only going to last so long. And when you look at this Giants wide receiver depth chart right now, the 4 guys' faces you see are all guaranteed to make this roster. Golladay, Shepard, Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson. I only see the Giants keeping 6 wide receivers. I know they love C.J. Board because what he can do on the special team side of the ball. So I think he's a lock to make this roster. And Richie James, the free agent wide receiver from the 49ers, has impressed Brian Daboll at Giants minicamp and at OTAs. He talked about him. He said he's someone that we can't wait to see in this offense. He adds special teams value, something that Darius Slayton does not. I honestly think the Giants have been shopping Darius Slayton. There's been rumors about that. I don't think he's going to make this roster. I think he's sitting on the hot seat. Unless something changes, where he goes off in the preseason, or when training camp comes up next month, he really starts to shine. He is sitting on the hot seat of making this roster because there's other guys that have looked really good and got glowing remarks from the head coach. But let me know what you think. Do you think Darius Slayton is going to make the 53-man roster for the Giants? Type M for make if you do, or if you think he gets cut, kind of like I do, you can go down and type C for cut. And when the Giants make a move, whether it's cutting Darius Slayton or trading Darius Slayton, or they go out and sign somebody, we are going to be breaking it down on this channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. We put out videos every single day around the latest Giants news and rumors. It's June, and then it's July. But look, our coverage isn't going to stop like other Giants YouTubers out there. So lock us in. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers. Do it for Eli. Don't do it for me. Just go down right now. Hit that big red button for Big E. We got 2 cut candidates to get to right now. Ben Bredeson, the offensive guard, and Max Garcia, the other offensive guard. These are 2 players that I think are looking on the outside in when it comes to the Giants' offensive line depth chart. Because I see the Giants for sure keeping everyone pictured on screen. Andrew Thomas, Lemieux, John Feliciano, Gawinski, and Evan Neal. That's 5 guys right there. I also see them keeping the 2 rookies they took, and Joshua Azudu and McKeithen. That's 7 guys right there. I also see them keeping Matt Gano. That's 8 guys right there. I'm not sure if they would keep anyone after that. So for sure, I think that Ben Bredeson and Max Garcia are looking on the outside in. I also think that Nick Gates and Matt Peart are 2 guys that are going to start the season off on the PUP list. Both of them are battling back from injuries that happened last season. Nick Gates battling back from that brutal leg injury. Matt Peart, he's coming back from that torn ACL that he suffered in September. So Bredeson and Garcia, I see them getting cut from this team, with the Giants selecting the 2 offensive guards from North Carolina in the draft this past year. Another cut candidate I have, and this one sucks because I had a lot of expectations for Oshane Ximines to start his career when he was a 5th-round pick under Dave Gettleman, but he just hasn't put it all together so far. And when you're not picked by someone that currently runs the team in Joe Schoen, it's always going to be tough. He's played in 30 games so far in his NFL career, and the stats are pretty bland in my opinion. 43 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 14 QB hits, and he doesn't really add anything on the special team side of the ball. When you're on the back end of the depth chart like he is at the outside linebacker spot, you got to be able to contribute on the special team side of the football. You got to do something that's going to separate something yourself from the rest of this roster. Thibodeau, Ojulari, Williams, Lawrence, Quincy Roche, Jihad Ward, Ellerson Smith, all of those guys are locks to make this roster, and that's why I think Oshane Ximines is going to be looking on the outside in. And that sucks because, look, I don't think he really had that much of a chance to prove himself early on. He battled through some injuries last year. He wasn't all that productive. But when you get a defensive coordinator like Don Wink Martindale, he's going to make the life of edge rushers much easier. You're going to get a lot of free blitzes to the quarterback with the exotic schemes and blitz packages that he's going to run through. I just don't see a way that Oshane Ximines is going to be able to crack this roster. It sucks because I thought he had a lot of potential, but at the end of the day, I don't see a way that it's going to happen. Another cut candidate that I have is Carter Coughlin, the inside linebacker that switched from edge rusher after his first couple of seasons with the Giants, and he's kind of a tweener. And a tweener can be a good and a bad thing, because if you're a tweener, that means you're either really good at 2 positions or you're not really that good at either one, so you kind of play a little bit of both. When you look at this linebacker depth chart, especially the inside linebackers, Blake Martinez and Tate Crowder, they're locks to make this roster. So is Micah McFadden and Darian Beavers as they were drafted this past year. And I think Cam Brown is going to make this roster over Carter Coughlin because Brown adds a little bit more special teams value. He was great on special teams the past couple of years. So Carter Coughlin may be the guy that's looking on the outside end of this inside linebacker depth chart. I don't think you really need to keep more than 5 inside linebackers. I know you got to have the Giants will be running mainly a 3-4, so they'll have 2 inside linebackers most of the time on the field. But we know Martindale is going to be extremely exotic in the formations and the personnel that he puts out there. I like Coughlin because he can play in the inside linebacker spot. He can blitz on the outside. He's extremely fast and athletic. But if I had to cut someone, he would be the guy that I think doesn't make this roster from the inside linebacker position. But let me know. I just gave you 5 guys that I think the Giants are going to move on from when they got to cut down their roster from 90 players to 53 players. But give me someone as a surprise cut candidate. If I had to name one more, I would say Gary Brightwell, the second-year running back out of Arizona. That was a 5th-round selection. I think the Giants keep Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, and Antonio Williams, and Jayshon Corbin, the undrafted free agents from Florida State. But give me a name of someone you think is going to be a surprise cut candidate. And if you love the NBA and you want to watch the NBA draft with me and the other guys that cover the NBA here at Chat Sports, make sure you tune in next Thursday, June 23rd. We'll be live 2 hours before the NBA draft, and we'll be breaking down every single pick. So lock us in, youtube.com/chatsports. Let's ride.